Hi everyone, welcome to IFAB Online.
Welcome to IFAB Online.
Welcome to IFAB Online.
Thanks for joining this session about how nonprofits are growing income and community internationally through digital channels. I'm here with two good friends of mine, Leonard Coyne from Soy Dog Foundation and Stephen O'Shea from Animals Asia, and they're going to explain a bit more about their backgrounds a bit later on. I am James Herlihy, Director of Digital at Mindwise, a full-service fundraising agency based in the Netherlands and with nonprofit clients all over the world. I've worked in digital strategy and development at fundraising agencies since 2013, and prior to that, I worked at Amnesty International, ActionAid Australia, and a number of other charities. I've worked with Leonard since 2013 and Stephen starting this year in the midst of the pandemic to grow their charity's international digital fundraising. And we're going to share some stories and insights on that work in this session. We're going to do that in three main parts. First, I'm going to take you through some fundamentals of digital donor acquisition. Then Leonard is going to tell some of the story of Soy Dog's fantastic growth through digital. And lastly, Stephen will share insights from Animal Asia's investment in digital in 2020. And we really hope that you can take away some useful examples and insights to consider adapting for your own organisation. Now, it's a jam-packed session covering a lot of territory, so let's kick off. And we start, of course, with the fundamentals. In the next 15 minutes, we'll cover the following topics: the evolving definition of audiences for fundraising, digital acquisition models, we'll look at a couple of those, channels and motivators for direct response, audience relevance, real-world responsiveness, and long-term investment and growth. So to start, let's talk about audience for fundraising. And we're talking about donor acquisition. So here's a conventional view of how fundraising works, the donor pyramid. So with the pyramid, fundraisers fish from a pool of prospects who haven't ever donated to you before. And we aim to get a single donation from a prospect. Then once we have that initial donation, we have an opportunity to get donors to step up their commitment to higher value forms of giving. It's like a marketing funnel with a mass of people lower down the funnel and fewer people higher up the funnel at higher levels of commitment. There's an important distinction about data in this picture. All of your donors are your owned data from this perspective, and they're in your donor database. But donor prospects, on the other hand, are cold audiences that you reach through second and third party data or publishers. Well, digital is kind of the same as this, but a bit different. We can still argue that there's a pyramid, but with email programs in particular, we have a crucial extra significant layer, that of subscribers who are not donors yet. These subscribers or leads might have come from a newsletter sign up on your website or another activity, and we'll look at some examples of those activities soon. Now, this pyramid kind of works for digital, but when it comes to online, I think that we need to look at our community from a slightly different angle. And we really need to rethink our approach to these groups of people who aren't donors yet. Now, to me, you have a greater online community that overlaps with, but is actually broader than your donor base. This community includes segments such as your email list, your social fan bases, people who engage with your social content, your website visitors, and so on. Now, some of this group, some of these people may be donors, but others aren't yet. This is a really important point, as these actions, say a social interaction, a like or a comment on Facebook, a petition signature, or a website visit, actually qualify people as prospects in a behavioural way. And we can target these people who engage with us in these ways with advertising or direct communication. In fact, when you consider all the ways that someone might interact with you online, I think that a spectrum of engagement with many gradations is actually more accurate. At one extreme, there's people who have never heard of you, then someone who's interacted with you once on Twitter, someone who follows you on Facebook and receives your emails, someone who recently signed your petition, and so on up to donors, people who support you with money, support you financially. So you have these donor groups, sure, and they're really important, but outside of this, you have that much bigger group of supporters who align with your mission in different ways. Okay, pyramid, spectrum, who really cares? Why is this important? It's important because we need to broaden the thinking of fundraisers beyond the simple worlds of donors and prospects. These different ways that your audience engages with you online provide you with different ways to qualify, target, and create conversion funnels. And that is really, really important with digital donor acquisition. Now I want to move on to the nuts and bolts. What does digital donor acquisition actually look like? There are a few common models used by nonprofits: two-step campaigning, which we'll explain in a minute, direct-to-donation, peer-to-peer fundraising, and there are others as well. We're going to focus just on the first two as they're the most applicable in the international context. Let's start with a two-step campaign. A two-step campaign involves a first step where you generate a lead through a non-financial engagement, then a supported journey to the second step, which is donor conversion. And that first non-financial action might be any from a range of things. For example, a brochure download, like this one from the Thrombosis Foundation Netherlands, this quiz from Bush Heritage Australia, this educational online game from the Heart Foundation Netherlands, a petition like this one from Soydog, a hand raiser, or in this case, a paw raiser from Animals Asia, and there are lots of other possibilities. Now, we call these two-step campaigns as it's vital that you plan out the whole supporter journey, including donor conversion, not just focus on the first touch point, which is lead generation. Speaking of the supporter journey, let's look at that in a little more detail. There's a real range of complexity in your options for supporter journey. Supporter journeys can be really simple, like this one. We serve ads on Facebook and Instagram to various audiences. When someone clicks on the ad, they go through to a Facebook lead form, which is a data capture device that sits in Facebook. And when that person submits the lead form, their data flows through to your telemarketing conversion program, and they also receive a thank you email. Pretty simple. And then the supported journey can be more complex and involve higher investment. So let's look at a Soydog two-step campaign as an example. We start with 2 web pages, a step 1 petition and a step 2 donation page. We have a set of channels driving traffic to step 1 petition page, including social advertising and paid search. Then after someone signs the petition, they go on a number of conversion paths. They get asked for a donation on the petition thank you page. They go on a 3 to 4 week email journey. They get retargeted with donation advertising. And of course, they go into your telemarketing conversion program. And then after someone signs up to become a donor, there is a welcome journey from there. So which supported journey do you choose? There's really no right or wrong with this. It depends on what your needs are. For example, do you really just want leads to convert on the phone? Then go for a simple, lighter journey. On the other hand, maybe you want to maximize your digital donor conversion, or maybe you want a bigger splash campaign with a bigger organic search footprint and which integrates with a public relations effort. If that's the case, then you might invest in a more comprehensive supported journey like this. One really important thing is test light. You really should test propositions in the lightest, cheapest way possible before deciding what to invest more in. And Stephen's going to show an example of a 2-step test campaign we did with Animals Asia a couple of months ago. Okay, the second digital donor acquisition model I'll talk briefly about is pretty much what it says on the tin: direct-to-donation acquisition. Direct-to-donation acquisition is driving non-donor audiences direct to donate to you online. Here's a really simple example we had running for Orbis International USA recently. We have a Facebook ad driving various audiences to donate at a donation landing page. Pretty straightforward. Directed donation, however, can be hard work. It can be actually quite hard to convince someone who's never donated to you to do so for a first time. So we really need to understand the tools available, and particularly when it comes to audience targeting. With some audiences, you are known to them, and what we're trying to do is push them further up that spectrum of engagement. For example, retargeting your recent website visitors. These people know of you, but haven't necessarily ever donated to you. The interest they've shown you by visiting your website recently qualifies them as prospects for donation. Then some audiences are truly cold, but can still be well qualified. For example, lookalike audiences. A lookalike audience is where you can identify a seed audience, then get a platform like Facebook to identify other audiences or other individuals who share the same characteristics as that seed audience. This is actually a really powerful tool and can work well to find you people who share the same attributes as your donors particularly. Now, direct to donation can work, but like I said, it can be hard going. So make sure you test small and be really clear on your proposition, your targeting, and your messaging.